Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, can we complete one question later on?
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So, welcome to our Bhakti Vaibhav class. Today I'll be reading from chapter 12. So, at the end of the previous chapter, where while concluding his instructions to Dhruva Maharaj, Swayambhu Manu, at the end he was saying that for the sake of avenging the death of your brother Uttama, who was killed by an Yaksha, you have come here and you are killing all the Yakshas. You are trying to uproot Yakshas altogether. And by killing extras unnecessarily, too much more than required, you have actually committed an offense against Kubera. And Kubera is a great devotee, and Kubera is also a close friend of Lord Shiva. In that sense, we have also committed an offense against Lord Shiva also. Yelanam Girisha Bhratrur Dhanadasya Tvaya Kritam Yaj Jagnivan Punyak Janan Bhratrur Ganan Iti Amarshita. You for no reason you are killing Akshas too much, and you committed offense against Kubera and also against Lord Shiva. Therefore, stop this war. Go to Kubera and pacify him by your good behavior. What kind of behavior? Tam prasadaya vastasu sannatya prashraya prashrayokti sannatya prashraya uktibi nayavan mahatam teja kulam no abhi bhavishyati. Please go to him and pacify him by offering respects, by your humble behavior, by speaking kind words, so that the anger of Kuvera will not destroy our lineage. For the sake of the lineage, please go and beg forgiveness from Kuvera. Then, having instructed thus, Swayambhu Manu departs from that place. Then, what did Dhruva Maharaj do? Having instructed by Swayambhu, did he stop the battle or not? Did he go to Kuvera beg forgiveness or not? Then, what happened to him? What else he did afterwards? That is the all subject matter of this chapter. So, in this chapter, we'll discuss how Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. His pastimes are getting concluded in this chapter. Dhruva Maharaj attains the pole star, Dhruva-loka. The 12th chapter describes how Dhruva received benediction from Kuvera and then returned to his own city, worshipped the Lord by the performance of various sacrifices, and at right time renouncing everything, attained the abode of the Lord in the self-same body, which is known as Dhruva-loka. That will be discussed in this chapter. So here we have 50 verses, and all these things are there. At the end, chapter concludes with Falashruti. What will be the benedictions given to the readers, hearers, and the students of Bhagavatam? So in that way. Maitreya Uvacha Dhruvam Nivrittam Pratibudhya Vaishashat Apetamanyum Bhagavan Daneshwara Tatragatascharanayakshkinnarೈ Samstuyamano Nyavadat Kritanjalim.
The great sage Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, Dhruva Maharaja's anger subsided and he completely ceased killing yakshas. When Kuvera, the most blessed master of the treasury, learned this news, he appeared before Dhruva. While being worshipped by yakshas, kinnaras, and charanas, he spoke to Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands.
After the departure of Swayambhu Manu, then what happened? Learning that Dhruva's anger has subsided. Dhruvam Nivrittam Pratibudhya Vaishashad. Nivritt ho gaya. Dhruva Maharaj stopped fighting as he had ceased killing. Kuvera appeared there in the scene. After Swayambhu Manu left, Dhruva Maharaj stopped fighting. Understanding that, Dhruva Maharaj became calm, composed, having followed the instructions of Swayambhu Manu. Kuvera was very much happy with that condition, and he came in front of Dhruva. Kuvera himself came out of his city and came to the battlefield. Praised by Charanas, Yakshas, and Kinnaras, Kuvera spoke to Dhruva, who stood with folded hands. Kuvera himself is going to speak to Dhruva Maharaj. So he's saying, Bobo Kshatriya Dayada Paritushto Smitenaga Yatvam Pitamahadeshat Vairam Dustujam Atyaja.
The master of the treasury, Kuvera, said, O sinless son of Kshatriya, I am very glad to know that under the instructions of your grandfather, you have given up your enmity, although it is very difficult to avoid. I am very pleased with you.
Yeah. O son of a warrior, Kshatriya Dayada, O sinless one, Anaga, I am very much pleased with you. Paritushto Asmite. Tushto means to please. Paritushto means completely pleased. Because you have given up hatred and anger, which is very difficult to give up. In this middle world, it is very difficult to give up anger and hatred. But Dhruva Maharaj at one go gave up, following the instructions of his grandfather, which made Kuvera become very much happy with Dhruva Maharaj. On the instructions of your grandfather, Pitamaha Adishat. So here, at least Kuvera is indicating that Yatvam Vairam Atyaja, that Vairam, this envy, hatred, anger, very difficult to give up. It's material world. Nabhavan Avadiyakshan Nayaksha Brataram Tava Kalaye Vahi Bhutanam Prabhur Apyaya Bhavayo.
Actually, you have not killed the Yakshas, nor have they killed your brother, for the ultimate cause of generation and annihilation is the eternal time feature of the Supreme Lord.
Here, in order to pacify Dhruva Maharaj, I mean, not finding fault with Dhruva Maharaj, Kuvera is saying that. So, my dear Dhruva, you did not kill the Yakshas, and the Yaksha did not kill your brother. Then who killed whom? Time is the master of destruction and creation for all beings. It is the time which killed them. Otherwise, we can say that time has come so that they have to die. So they died. So don't find fault with the instrument of time. So you have come here to fight with the Yakshas thinking that one of the Yaksha killed your brother for no reason. It's not that, he is only instrument. It is the time for your brother's death, he died. That's all. And all these Yakshas also, it is their time to die. They died through your hands. You are not the killer of them. So like that. The same, somewhat similar conversation takes place between Kuvera and Yudhishthira Maharaj in Mahabharata also. When Bhima, while taking up that golden lotus flowers on the top of Himalayas, next to this Alakapuri city from that Saugandhika Vanam, Kuvera, the Yakshas came and stopped Bhima from not sporting that lake and not collecting so many lotus flowers. Then Bhima was fighting with them, and some of the Yakshas were killed by Bhima. Understanding something dangerous is happening, Yudhishthira Maharaj and other Pandavas climbed up the hill and came onto the top and they stopped Bhima. Then they immediately went to Kuvera and begged forgiveness from Kuvera, saying that my brother very rashly killed innocent Yakshas, please forgive us. Don't show anger upon us. Then Kuvera says that, don't worry, my dear Yudhishthira, all these Yakshas who are killed by Bhima, they are actually cursed to die through the hands of human being. It was supposed to happen by the will of the providence. So it happened. There is no fault of Bhima.
Somebody can take this, run the wrong thing and kill around people. How do you achieve this? Right now, suppose the war is going on between Russia and Ukraine. Millions of people are dying.
They don't believe all scriptures, na. Unka war ko they cannot. They don't have the Kala understanding only.
We accept. Should we understand that this is done by time or this is personal enmity? How do we understand?
From the remote cause point of view, everything is happening by the will of time only. We may say at our immediate level, we say that okay, this is the cause. China is angry with India. This is so this person is angry with that person. They fought among them. Just one killed the other. So immediate cause we see the anger between two people. The next cause is karma. It is by their karma they are supposed to be going through this kind of situation. They are supposed to die or they are supposed to go through like this. But ultimately their karma functions as supervision of Kala. Everything is happening by Kala only. It is Kala which is causing our birth. It is Kala which causes our death. All of us under the complete control of Kala. We cannot go against the will of the Kala. So it's like that. So here Prabhupada writes, eternal time, the last line of the paragraph. One of the features of the Lord is ultimately responsible for annihilation and generation. You are not the responsible for such actions. Because generally, devotees feel regret. Same thing we saw in first canto Bhagavatam also, na? Yudhishthira Maharaj was supposed to become the king. He says, no, because of my greed only, I killed all the warriors. All warriors are died because of my own personal greed. I am responsible for the death of so many people. I don't have any qualification to become the king. Then Krishna says, let us go to Bhishma. You are not listening to us. Let us go to Bhishma. Let us see what he says. You should follow whatever he says. Then Bhishma says that Sarvam Kalam Krutam Manne. Everything is happening by Kala only. Bhavatam Chai Dapriyam. Even though you may not like it, but everything is happening by the will of the time. So if you ask question, how can you say that will of the Kala? I want to know what is the will of the Kala. You will not understand. Even the greatly intelligent people try to understand how Kala functions, they will not understand. Why? Mannitvam Kala Mishanam. Kala is non-different from the Supreme Lord. So it's like that. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, but when we say that there is one confusion that when we say that Kala is the ultimate cause, that means other causes which are subsequent causes, like how in previous chapter also we saw with the example of potter. That yes, potter is the ultimate cause and whatever clay and wheel and everything as the secondary causes. But in spite of that, then why the person or whatever the situation who becomes the secondary cause generates the karma then? Because that they are, if they are not the ultimate cause of whatever is happening, suppose one particular jiva is not the cause of what is happening, still that jiva gets the karma of whatever has been done, right?
See, kindly understand the mood also. There, Yudhishthira Maharaj feeling so much remorse that I am the cause of everything, I am the cause of everything. Here, Dhruva Maharaj also feeling like that. I am the cause of this destruction. In the sense, he stopped war means he does not want to continue anymore. So, bahut ho gaya abhi अच्छा नहीं करके. So, even what was the other example I just mentioned?
Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Bhima and Yudhishthira. There also, Yudhishthira was feeling so much sorry that my brother very rashly killed Yakshas. So, when the person is of this condition, is of this particular mentality, that person will be enlightened by speaking on the level of the remote cause, the ultimate cause, not even remote cause, ultimate cause. That is from the Krishna. Everything is happening by the will of the Supreme Lord. For such kind of people only this is spoken, not for everyone. For the people who are responsible from the society point of view, and they will be said that everything is happening by karma. We need to accept the will of that destiny. We need to follow whatever happens. We need to accept. We need to live with that. That is told for the people who are moral, ethical, responsible people. And people who does not want to take any responsibility, they should be pointed out. You are the cause of them. You are the culprit. You are the reason for this problem. So the immediate cause should be pointed out for those people who are not at all responsible. And karma should be pointed out for the people who are at least morally, ethically responsible people. And people who are with devoted heart, devotional heart, they cannot even tolerate even a small thing also. That kind of people should be told the ultimate cause. So it's like that. Who is speaking to whom also matters. Based on that, we need to apply the principle. It is not that, okay, this is the principle, so we can apply this anywhere and everywhere. That does not work. As Benit Prabhu suggesting that people might take that advantage and they will destroy for no reason. So it's like that.
Yes, depending on the consciousness of the particular secondary cause, it will that will decide what kind of a rule will be applicable.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So then Kuvera continues. Aham tvam iti aparta. So he says that Aham tvam iti aparta dir ajan ajnanat purushasya hi swapniva bhati atadhyanat yaya bandha viparyayau.
Misidentification of oneself and others as I and you on the basis of the bodily concept of life is product of ignorance. This bodily concept is the cause of repeated birth and death, and it makes us go on continuously in material existence.
Here he says that Aham tvam iti aparta dir. Artha means meaningful. Apartha means not meaningful. Their intelligence. From ignorance, from absorption in the body, atadhyanad, man's intelligence, purushasadi, thinking of I and mine, aham tvam iti, like a dreamer by which bondage and suffering arises, becomes useless. The thinking of I and me, or this is Dhruva and this is my brother Uttama, he was killed by somebody else, that somebody else has to be killed, etc., like that. This concept of me and mine, I and mine, actually binds a person in this material world, and person is put into perpetual suffering. This comes because of two things. One is because of the ajnana, because of ignorance, and because of atadhyanad, by constant absorption in the material body. Forgetfulness of one's true identity and absorption in material identity leads to the concept of me and mine, aham mameti, and that will cause bandha, that is bondage, and it will give us the different experience, viparya. The natural state of the soul is Satchitananda Swarupa. The soul is always supposed to experience Satchitananda features, eternity, knowledge, and full of bliss. But when we have in atadhyanat, in the bodily consciousness, we are bound. And what are the symptoms of bondage? It is opposite to Satchitananda. So, soul in its constitutional position thinks that I am eternal. But in the conditioned state, we know that we are going to die. But we are not dying, body is dying. Because we are thinking with the body, we say that we are going to die in few years. So eternity is not there. Chit, the soul is supposed to be full of knowledge. Here, this person is affected by ignorance. There is no knowledge about himself only. Then what to speak about the Supreme Lord? Ananda, the soul is supposed to be always experiencing Ananda. Here, this person is constantly going through misery only. Such kind of thing is apartha, not at all useful. So this thinking of me and mine with the bodily consciousness is all like a dream. So like that, even this is what Swayambhu was told in the previous chapter. Here Kuber also telling Dhruva. So my dear Dhruva, don't be over anxious. Don't be overreactive. Ultimately, everything is happening by the will of the Lord. And me and my concept comes because of ajnana and also bodily consciousness. Try to come out of it. Because this thinking process and the activities corresponding to that are all like the dreamy activities. They don't have any factual substance. So come out of it, like that is saying. Atadhyanat means from thinking only about the body. From this arises samsara. From this arises bondage. And the opposite to the jiva's knowledge and bliss, that is ignorance and suffering, also manifests. Temporary identity, ignorance and suffering manifests because of this bodily consciousness. So it is like that. So Prabhupada says that the conception of I and you, aham tvam, as separate from each other is due to our forgetfulness of our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that means both I and you are all different fragmental particles of Supreme Lord. Mamai Vamsho Dhruva-loka Jivabhut Sanatana. If we both are different amshas of Supreme Lord, what is the use of the enmity between us? That will have no meaning to it. So like that, kindly come out of this temporary bodily identity that I and you, aham tvam. So it's like that. So that was the understanding. Then he further continues. Tadgaccha dhruva te bhagavantam adokshajam sarvabhutatma bhavena sarvabhutatma vigraham bhajasva bhajaniyangrim bhavaya bhavachidam yuktam virahitam shaktya gunamayatma mayaya.
My dear Dhruva, come forward. May the Lord always grace you with good fortune. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond our sensory perception, is the super soul of all living entities. And thus, all entities are one without distinction. Begin therefore to render service unto the transcendental form of the Lord, who is the ultimate shelter of all living entities.
Yeah.
Engage yourself fully. Should I read further? Because you read 2 verses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, you read 2 verses, so should I read the other translation also? Or
Yes,
later?
yes. You read that. Both are connected only, interconnected.
Engage yourself fully, therefore, in the devotional service of the Lord, for only He can deliver us from this entanglement of materialistic existence. Although the Lord is attached to His material potency, He is aloof from her activities. Everything in this material world is happening by the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So here, the entire philosophy, in brief, Kuvera is summarizing. Tad gacha Dhruva Badram te Bhavantam Adokshaja. My dear Dhruva, let there be auspiciousness unto you. Let there be good fortune unto you. Please go home. Enough is enough with the battle. You stopped the battle. Please go home. Let there be good fortune unto you. To attain the Lord who has no material existence, while thinking all beings as equal to oneself, worship the Lord who is situated beyond the senses. After going home, okay, worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How? Thinking all beings are equal to oneself. In the previous verse, it is said that this identity and I and you is all due to bodily identification and ignorance. The knowledge is that all the living entities are different fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord. And thinking all the living entities equal and they are all directly connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. With that thinking process, worship the Supreme Lord who is situated beyond the sense perception and who is the form of all beings. Sarva Bhutatma Vigraham. All the living entities are duplicated in the form of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord himself expanding and manifesting in the form of all the living entities who are of the same form. So, and that Supreme Lord will destroy the samsara, bhavachidam. It is only he can destroy the bondage. Thus, therefore, His feet are worthy of worship. Bhajaniya Angrim. Only Lord's lotus feet are the worthy object of worship. And who, though endowed with different material shaktis, composed of the gunas, is unaffected by it. We are bound by Maya in this material world, and the Lord is the master of that Maya Shakti. He has many Maya Shaktis like that, but he is the master of all the different types of Maya Shaktis. He is not at all disturbed by those Maya Shakti. He is not bound by the Maya Shakti. He is situated beyond the three modes of material nature. If at all we also want to attain such state, take shelter of that person, because his lotus feet are worthy object of worship. Bhajaniya Angrim. They are Bhajaniya. They are worthy object of one's worship. So like that, in these two verses, he is kind of summarizing the philosophy, and is also telling what he should do after going home. He should engage in devotional service, thinking that all the living entities are fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord, and all the living entities have the form which is similar to that of the Supreme Lord. So thinking thus, never ever develop enmity with anybody else. So like that, Kuvera is instructing Dhruva Maharaj. Yes, Prabhu.
Here he says that this identification of others as I and you is the cause.
हाँ बताया ना previous verse में.
Yeah, but it is necessary for the bodily identification. If there are no relations, there is father, mother, brother, sister. How will the society?
Yes, Prabhu. आप ये सोसाइटी में रहना चाहिए तो that is required. If you want to give up this society and go back to spiritual society, you need to give up that misidentification, I and you.
So you need to give all relations of your family, friend. Everything.
Abhi, what is the source of your relationship? Who becomes your sister or brother?
Body, my father, my mother.
Our source of connection is parents. Somebody, auntie, uncle, their also source of connection is parents. All the relations that we have in the material world is through parents. So we are the parents. It is through the body of the parents. It is philosophical if you take. So you are still in the bodily relationships only. Come out of it. You are the spirit soul. Develop the spiritual relationships. Who is the father of the spirit soul? Then find out the relationship with everyone in terms of spirit soul, not with respect to the body. In this lifetime, you have a brother, sister, and uncle, aunt. You give up this body. You take birth next time. So then your set of relatives will be different. So what will happen to these people, these relatives in your previous birth? That is the problem. Because our relationships are all based on body only. That's why we have all these conditions that you and me, you and me, you and me. Only few are relatives remaining all no one for us. But when you talk in terms of spirit soul, every living entity is a spirit soul, a child of Supreme Lord. Then all the living entities are God brothers and God sisters. Bas ho gaye.
That is for understanding. Yeah,
That is understanding, that is the ultimate reality.
But you have a father and mother. You have.
Not you.
How do you?
Not you.
Then how does it do?
You don't have father, mother. Your body has a father, mother.
How will the social relationship?
That's what I am saying, Prabhuji. That's the bodily relationship. That is on based on body.
So what is the relation between two spirits?
Both spirit souls are coming from Krishna only.
Yeah, but how do you relate with them? Is there no hierarchy? There is no father, mother. There is no distinction with them.
It's not required.
Why not required?
Everyone is servant of Krishna.
So
everyone serve Krishna altogether.
So you are saying that there is no father, mother, brother, sister relationship in the spiritual world?
It is there also, but that is not so important. The important thing is to serve the Lord. In Vrinda, in 10th canto, if you have heard any time, all the Vrajavasis also have family relationships, but they are not so much immersed in those family relationships. Every person, any different type of age, everyone's main focus is only how to serve Krishna. More than their family relationship, their only focus is how to serve Krishna. From the bodily point of view, Krishna is no relative for them. From the spirit point of view, Krishna is everyone's relative. For some, Krishna is friend. For some, he is lover. For some, he is son. For some, he is master. They are seeing all the relationships with respect to Krishna only, not among themselves.
There must be some relationship among themselves, no?
See, आप किधर बात कर रहे हैं?
So I'm trying to understand this bodily perception of life.
वही प्रॉब्लम है ना, प्रभुपाद इतना बार बोल रहा था अभी तक, we are not the body, we are not the body, we are not the body.
So how are those who are not the body? कहीं कुछ है कि नहीं, मेल फीमेल नहीं है कि फादर मदर कुछ है कि नहीं है?
See, I'm not saying they are not there, they are all there. But for them, their main focus is, the most important thing is to serve Krishna.
Okay, but I am asking, what is the relationship between say 100 and 200 devotees?
हाँ.
कुछ होगा कि कुछ नहीं होगा? What will be?
What you are expecting between them?
ऐसे ही होगा जैसे फादर मदर फ्रेंड्स हैं वैसे होगा.
वो रहेगा, वो relationship रहेगा. But that is all secondary. That is not the primary. The primary activity of all the devotees is to serve the Lord. If you give body relationship to the primary importance, we will be in this world only. Body relationship is the product of material world. If that is given importance, one will remain in the material world. The spiritual relationships is a product of spiritual world. If that is given importance, one will go back to Godhead.
Even in the King Uttanapad's example, we saw that like he went to serve the Lord in the forest even before Dhruva got married. In that purpose, also
Yes,
and that
yes.
nothing is more important than the service of the Lord and self.
Yes, even Kardam Muni also, as soon as Lord Kapila was born, immediately went to forest. He did not stay anymore. He said, Lord Kapila said, you can stay home, no problem, you don't have to go. He said, no, I have already decided to go, I will go. Not because the Supreme Lord appeared as my son, I will stay here. No, I want to serve the Lord in this way only. That is my mood of serving him. He is a Dasa Bhakta, he is not a Vasalya Bhakta, Kardam Muni. So you don't want to change his rasa. He went. So it's like that. That's what in the previous Vaititna, Atat Diyanam, because of the bodily consciousness, we always talk about you and me, you and me, you and me. As long as that is there, the result will be Ajnana, Bandhanam, and then Viparya. The soul by nature is supposed to experience Sachidananda. As long as we identify with the body, we experience opposite. The soul is eternal, but the body is temporary. Soul is full of knowledge, we are full of ignorance. Soul is always blissful, we are always miserable. So what do we want? We need to decide. Accordingly, we have to work on. So it's like that. And now Kuvera is telling that, my dear Dhruva, please give up this identity that you and me, that Yakshas killed your brother and you have close relationship with your brother, you have to take revenge against Yakshas. Forget about all these things. All the living entities are different partner parcels of the Supreme Lord. See everyone as a child of the Supreme Lord. Sarva Bhutatma Bhavena, Sarva Bhutatma Vigraham. And see every living entity as a manifestation of Supreme Lord. If every sun ray is coming from sun only, na? So how can one sun ray can envy another sun ray? As long as we envy among ourselves, we remain here only. When we see every living entity is a fragmental part of the Supreme Lord, and every living entity is a replica of the Supreme Lord, then how do we envy anybody? When we see opposite person as the manifest Supreme Lord, how can we envy? We will serve them as the representative of the Supreme Lord. That's why in the Vedic culture, this concept is very much appreciated. Atiti Devo Bhava. Whoever comes to your home, friend or enemy, whoever it is, they should be treated as Atiti. And what kind of Atiti? That Atiti is like the Supreme Personality of God. The Supreme Personality of God himself came to home as a Atiti. How would you like to serve the Supreme Lord? Same kind of respect and service should be offered to a guest. That is the understanding of Vedic culture. So it's like that. We have to demonstrate that we will be able to serve the Lord by all means, even at the cost of our own death. Then one will be qualified to go back to Godhead. Example is Ranti Deva. After 54 days of fasting because of Akal, somehow or other somebody gave a plate of food, a plate of meal. He himself is there, his family members are there, everyone is there. So he divided the food equal to all the family members. Then different people started coming. When Brahmana came, Chandala came, dog keeper came, dogs came. So he had water at the end. He said, if I drink water, I may survive. But if I give the water to this person, the guest who came, the Lord will be pleased. For him, more than his survival, Lord's pleasure is important. So he gave that water also. He went back to Godhead. If he drank that water, he would have stayed back here only. This concept appears to be too much according to the modern day culture. So, but that is what it is. Spiritual culture is like that.
It's not easy to effect.
Not that easy. We can't even tolerate even our closest person if they are not going according to our desire. We immediately become angry, we shout at them, and if they are angry to us, we beat them. So that is the current, that is our current state. And here we are reading about the people in the exactly opposite state. Long way to go. Hare Krishna, any questions from the devotees? Hari Bol?
No question, Prabhu. It's fine.
No,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
So sorry, here Binit Prabhu went into a different tangent. So
Prabhuji,
here,
there are some questions from the previous chapter that I will ask at the end after.
okay. No issue. Sarva Bhutatma Bhavena means with the thought that all beings are like oneself. Whatever it may happen, we are always worried about our own comfort. Yes? When we extend that comfort nature for ourselves to all the living entities, then one is ready to go back to Godhead. At the cost of one's own discomfort, if one is worried about our others' comfort, one is ready to go back to Godhead. This is the litmus test. Sarva Bhutatma Vigraham means that the Lord's form is all beings. All beings are representatives of the Supreme Lord. So we say that na Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The meaning is, please engage me in your service, engage me in your service. So many times we understand that engage me in your service means engage me in your direct service. This is the general understanding. But if you read through Bhagavatam clearly, it is not only engaging in Lord's service, engaging in Lord's Tadiya Seva. What was that verse from Padma Purana? Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param. Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiya Samarchanam. Among the different personalities who are supposed to worship, who is supposed to be worshipped, Vishnu is the best. And better than worship of the Vishnu is serving Vishnu's Tadiya. So we may say that, okay, from the devotional point of view, Vishnu's Tadiya is Vishnu's abode. Or whenever Lord appears here, Vishnu's abode like the holy places. Vrindavan, Madura, Dwaraka, Jagannath Puri, Tirumala, Srirangam. These are the Vishnu's abode belonging to Vishnu. Or Vishnu Tadiya means Vishnu's devotees. Vishnu Jana Vaishnav. And Vishnu Tadiya means Tulsi Maharani. Vishnu Tadiya means different articles that are used in the devotional service. So like that we may categorize. So what all very closely connected to Vishnu, Vishnu's temples, Vishnu's abodes, Vishnu's devotees, Vishnu's articles of worship, Vishnu's dresses. So we generally respect them very highly. Okay. If we extend that philosophy a little bit more, what about all the spirit souls whom they belong to? They are also Vishnu Tadiya only. They also need to be respected. They also need to be cared for. They also need to be worshipped. It's more than Supreme Lord. So that is possible only when we see everyone at the form of the Supreme Lord. So in that way.
Yeah, that is.
This is like uncha, I mean, very highest form of understanding. That's why, what was the consciousness of Uttama Bhakta? स्थावर जंगम देखी न देखी तारमूर्ति सर्वत्र प्रसार होइबे इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. Whatever he sees, whether moving or non-moving, living in it is, he does not see them the external covering. Everywhere he sees Ishta Deva Spurti. He only sees his own Ishta Deva. Uttama Bhakta sees each and every living entity, each and every object as a great devotee than himself. An object or an article which is in the service of Supreme Lord more than himself. He always feels everyone else other than himself are devotees. He himself is not a devotee. That is the consciousness of Uttama Bhakta. And that person is ready to go back home to Godhead. So it's like that. Abhavaya means in order to attain the Lord who has no birth and death. I'm sorry, I'm speaking a lot of things. Even I am also very much. Every day we have a lot of struggles here in the ashram, fighting for keeping up with our opinions, etc. So it is very difficult. At least let us read and go through theoretically. By hearing this kind of philosophy for hundreds of times, one day we may get a understanding that we are supposed to become like this, not continue to fight for our rights.
Why? What is wrong with that?
That's the problem. Whose rights we are fighting for? Body rights or soul rights?
There has to be some organization. Wherever.
See, Prabhuji, don't speak like a person in the outside society.
Even in
Here-
the spiritual society, there has to be some method, some organization, some management. Otherwise, there will be chaos.
The chaos will be there only when there is selfish motive. When every devotee is seeing everyone else as a great devotee, then where is the selfishness, where is the exploitation, where is the chaos?
Because we are not on that level.
That's what Bhagavatam is telling, that come to that level. If you are not that level, you need everything. We are not saying they are not required. They are all required, but ultimately we are not talking about how to live here. We are talking about if you want to go to, you have to go to spiritual world, you have to come to this point. How to live here is a different subject. For that, you need to go to art of living. Bhagavatam does not teach us art of living. It will teach us art of, as Radhagopal Prabhu says always. Even after coming to Bhagavatam, we should not talk about how to live here. Bhagavatam prepares us how to get away from this world. By doing what, we can make ourselves getting ready for going back to Godhead. Bhagavatam will not teach us the small things. How to live here in an organized way. How to have so many protocols, systems and all. That is all elementary education. He is joined to Maya because Maya is Shakti. So basically, at the end, it says that Yuktam Virahitam Shaktya Guna Mayatma Maya. The Supreme Lord is very much connected to Maya Devi because Maya is one of his Shaktis. But he is completely indifferent to Maya because Maya is not his Swarupa Shakti. Maya means Mahamaya. Because of Mahamaya only, he is orchestrating all the acts in the material world. At the same time, he is indifferent to the material world. That's why we discussed many times in our second canto, third cantos that the three Purushas, Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Kyudaksha Vishnu, three of them are always in Yoga Nidra. They are responsible for the creation, maintenance and annihilation of the entire universe, but still they themselves are in Yoga Nidra. They activated the Maya Devi and they are in Yoga Nidra. That means they are completely indifferent to Maya and Maya's activities because Maya is not his Swarupa. So it's like that. So these are like some of the important philosophical insights which in the previous chapter Swayambhu Manu gave to Dhruva Maharaj, and in this chapter even Kuvera is also giving the same kind of instructions in a summarily, in a very briefly. So in that way, which is the repetitive theme of the entire Bhagavatam. The same theme is coming from the beginning of the Bhagavatam all the way till the end of the Bhagavatam. because we are not convinced of hearing once or twice. So we need to be heard about it thousands of times. Then only we may get convinced.
Practicing that. Practicing that is very, very tough.
If one wants to practice, one can practice. The problem is that for us, the priorities are different. For us, the priority is how to have a better life here, not how to come back to Godhead. For those, if the priority is how to go back to Godhead, then our activities will change. So it's like that. So then Kuvera is continuing further. Vrinihi kamam rupayanmanogatam matta swamauttanapade vishankita varam vararhombujanabapadayor anantaram tvam vayamanga sushruma.
My dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Maharaj Uttan Path, we have heard that you are constantly engaged in transcendental and loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known for his lotus navel. You are therefore worthy to take all benedictions from us. Please therefore ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me.
Here, Kuvera is offering benedictions unto Dhruva Maharaj. O king, son of Uttanapada, please ask from me any benediction in your mind without hesitation. Whenever devatas give their darshan to any human being, they will give a benediction. They cannot go without offering benediction. This is a common practice if you read Mahabharata or Ramayana anywhere. Even when Kunti chanted that mantra given by Durvasa Muni, Suryadev came and Kunti requested, my dear son, sun god, I just wanted to see you. So I just chanted this mantra. Please go back. I saw you. Thank you very much. Please go back. Then sun god says, no, no, no. You called me for some anticipating some benediction. I have to give you that benediction. Without giving, I cannot go back. You have to take it. I have to give you. Because that mantra is meant to give a child. Suryadev gave a child and left returned. Even after the battle between Lord Ram, Rama Lakshman and Ravana Kumbhakarna, all the Rakshasas. Then all the devatas appeared there. So Indra, all the main devatas. Then Indra said, so please ask for a benediction because devatas audience should not go in vain. Then Lord Rama says, if that is the case, please revive all the warriors who laid down their lives, all the monkeys. Then Indra says that though it is very difficult, but since you are asking and you are my master, so we'll do it. Because the understanding is that very simple. Lord Rama also did not ask anything, something out of Indra's purview. In the battle, if somebody dies, they'll go to heaven. In the heaven, they will be under the supervision of Indra only. So Indra can send them back to earth again. It is not beyond his capacity. So he said, no issue. I will revive everyone. So they were all revived. So
Hare
like that.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. Okay, Mataji, you ask first, then I'll ask.
No, you ask, Mataji.
Prabhuji, generally it is said that whatever one has, from that only somebody can give, like how Hiranyakashipu asked Brahmaji to give immortality. Brahmaji said, I am also not immortal, so how can he give that to you? So if Indra, he is not immortal, how he could avoid how he could revive the dead soul?
No, that's why I said, na, if somebody is killed in the battle, they will go to Swarga. They will be under the care of Indra only. So he can give them back. It is not at all problem for him. If somebody is in your care, if somebody asks him, can't you give them?
Yeah, but I mean somebody who has died means to make them again, alive. One needs to give that life force, or one needs to allow that soul to go back to that body. So
Can't Indra have that much capacity? Indra is not an ordinary
I'm
human
not
being.
aware. That is I'm asking, like whether the Indra has that capacity.
Indra can do it very easily. Indra can happily do that. Indra has that capacity. He
Okay,
can
okay,
revive. It is not an issue.
okay, fine. Thank you.
Indra can. Even this story, na, recently in one of the classes, Radha Gopinath Prabhu talking about that Sati Savitri, the chaste lady Savitri, her husband supposed to die in the next day morning. She said, if at all I am a chaste lady, the sun should not rise next day.
Yeah. Savitri.
Yeah, then sun did not rise. The sun, who is the Devata, he had to follow out of her chastity. And there was one more pastime like that only. Yamaraj actually takes the soul of that her husband, and she was following after Yamaraj. Maybe this person only, I'm not sure. So she went.
Savitri, no?
Satyavan Savitri.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't remember exact complete story, but the thing is that Yamaraj personally comes and takes away the soul from the body, and she was following after Yamaraj. And by going, I mean, Yamaraj becomes surprised. How can you come so long along with me? Then she said, I can't live without my husband. You should take me with my husband. Then he said, I cannot take. Then Yamaraj says that, but I have to take your husband in exchange. You ask for a benediction. And she says that give my uncle and aunt, they lost eye vision. So give them the eyesight. Yamaraj said, okay, no problem. And then say again she was following. Then Yamaraj says, no, don't come. Please ask for more benediction. I can't give you your husband. Other than that, anything you can ask. She said that my uncle lost his kingdom. Please give them the kingdom. And the kingdom came. Then again she followed after Yamaraj. Then Yamaraj finally says, no, please ask for a final benediction and don't follow after this. Then she said that, please make sure that, please give me that benediction that I should live happily with my children in my kingdom under the care of my uncle and aunt. So something like that. So then Yamraj, without understanding what was the benediction, she said, okay, yes. Then he realized, for she to be happy, for she to live with children, for she to live in the midst of all the opulences with the family members, her husband should be there. So then Yamaraj gives back that soul. So like that, there are so many stories in Ramayana and Mahabharata. The Devatas have that power to revive anybody. Everything is within their control. This much is within their control. They can do it.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes,
In Bhagavatam, we hear, no, whoever dies in the battlefield seeing the Lord, they attain salvation. Karke. But in case of Ram, when in the fight, didn't they get salvation immediately? None of the soldiers or the monkeys got the salvation.
What to speak of that battle? Even the monkeys are still there in Kimpurusha Varsha. We discussed in the 5th canto, na? You remember? Hanumanji, Sugriva, and all the monkeys who served Lord Ram, they are still there in Kimpurusha Varsha only. They have not gone to spiritual even today also.
Yeah, why like that? Because when we hear this Bhagavatam, Tataiva Chanyas Dhruva-loka Veera, that verse says ki who lost their life in the battlefield, they went back, no?
Yeah, there are actually two understanding. From the point of view of karma, there is a different understanding. From the point of view of bhakti, there is a different understanding. Normally, from the point of view of karma means they perform the duty according to varna and ashrama.
Yeah.
Whoever dies in the battlefield, they'll go to Swarga.
Yeah, correct.
Hatova prophecy Swargam Jitva Mokshase Mahim. That is the default rule.
Yes.
But if that person is also a devotee and dying in the battlefield in front of the Supreme Lord, looking at the Supreme Lord and seeing him as the Supreme Lord, accepting him as the Supreme Lord, then that person will go to spiritual world.
Okay.
And also the more important than that, he should have the desire to go to spiritual world also.
Oh, okay.
Entry to spiritual world is not offered by force. Permission will be
monkeys-
given. They can come.
So the
They can come.
monkeys did not have any desire.
They can come to spiritual world if they desire so. Their entry is there. But are they want to come today, or they after 1 month, after 1 lifetime, or after 10 lifetimes? It is up to them.
Okay.
Lord Vamana also gave Bali Maharaj entry into spiritual world. But Bali Maharaj had a desire to become Indra.
Yeah.
So without fulfilling that desire, if Bali Maharaj enters into spiritual world, he cannot remain happy in the spiritual world.
Oh, okay.
So Vamana told that, okay, stay for now, you cannot become Indra, stay in Dhruva-loka, away from the Asuras. Next Manvantara, may you become Indra, fulfill your desire, then come to spiritual world. It's all like this.
Okay. I thought anybody who dies in the battlefield with the Lord, that two monkeys were fighting for the Lord. So they would have gone back.
No, they should also ready to go back.
Okay.
So
Thank
it's
you,
like
Prabhu.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
So multiple things work upon. But since the monkeys have served Lord Ram, their entry to spiritual world is guaranteed. But when they want to go, because their leader is Sugriva, they want to go along with Sugriva and Hanumanji. And Sugriva and Hanumanji are not ready to go to spiritual world today itself. They want to stay here and serve the Lord for some more time. So till then, all the other monkeys are also following them. When Sugriva and Hanumanji goes to spiritual world, all the other monkeys also follow after them, go to spiritual world.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Huh?
Where is Lord Ram?
Lord Ram is in Vaikunta. Here they are serving Lord Rama's devotees. For them, serving Lord Rama's devotees is more important than serving Lord Ram directly. That's what we are discussing. Tasmat Paratam Devi Tadiya Samarchanam. So it's like that. So then, this is the general understanding. Whenever devatas appear, their appearance should not go in vain. They will give some benediction. So what benediction depends on the person's consciousness. We, who should give you benedictions, have heard that you are very close to the feet of the Supreme Lord. Even the darshan of the devatas, obviously they will give benedictions. They are supposed to give benedictions, not go vain. But my dear Dhruva, you are a great devotee. How can I not give you benediction? I am all the more interested in giving benediction. Please ask whatever you want. We are eager to give benediction to normal people only. Then for a pure devotee like you, who will not give benediction? So like that. That is the understanding. Anantaram means without obstacle, very close, because you are a very close devotee of the Supreme Lord. Anantaram tvam vayamanga sushruma. Because Ambuja Naba Padayor, you have taken shelter of the lotus naveled Lord. The Lord from whose navel appeared the lotus flower, that Lord's lotus feet you have completely accepted. You are very close to that. Anantaram, Antaram means there is a separation. Anantaram means without any separation. Your consciousness is always at the lotus of Supreme Lord. For such a person, how can I not give you benediction? You are a wonderful devotee of my wonderful Lord. I am happy to give you whatever you ask. Please ask. So like that. So this is happiness which Kuvera showing towards Dhruva. So it's like that. Hare Krishna. All the devotees are able to follow what we are discussing?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes, Prabhuji. Yes, that was very nice
Some of you please take a special class to Binit Prabhu. He is still having the same question. Why, how, why, how, why, how? He is thinking that this is too much for me to practice. But otherwise there is no hope. Without this consciousness, there is no entry into spiritual world. How means that's all we need to work on. So it is 7:30. Let us have just few minutes break. Though we had exam, but just 2-3 minutes, then we'll continue. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, आप म्यूट हो गए हैं। हरे कृष्णा, क्या बाकी डिवोटीज को सुन पा रहे हैं? आवाज आ रही है आपको?
Hare Krishna, there is a break, no, Mataji, for 2-3 minutes.
Okay, sorry.
So probably we are not hearing anything because of that.
Break is there, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Devotees are there?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So-
Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes.
Now, Maitreya is speaking. So, having presented what Kuvera spoke to Dhruva after offering some benedictions, what benediction did Dhruva ask from Kuvera? That is indicated by Maitreya here in this verse. Maitreya uvacha Sarajaraje Navaraya Chodito Dhruvo Mahabhagavato Mahamati Harau Savarve Chalitam Smritim Yaya Tarati Ayantnena Duratyayantama.
The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yaksha Raja, king of the Yakshas, Dhruva Maharaj, that most elevated pure devotee, who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begged that he might have unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For thus a person can cross over the ocean of nescience very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross.
Yeah. Saraja Rajena Vareya Varaya Chodito. So here Maitreya is saying that when Kuvera requested him to ask for a benediction, the great devotee Dhruva of high intelligence, Mahamati, asked for a benediction. What was the benediction he asked for? That he should have fixed remembrance of the Lord. Sa Harau Achalitam Smruti. Smruti, remembrance of the Supreme Lord. Chalitam, disturbed remembrance. Achalitam, undisturbed remembrance. Unto whom? Harau, of Lord Vishnu. So he asked for the constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord, by which he could cross the insurmountable ignorance of material existence. Yaya tarati duratyayam tama. Ayatnena, easily. Without this, it is very difficult to cross the insurmountable material existence. As Lord Krishna says at many places in Bhagavad Gita. What was that? Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durataya. Mam Yeve Prapadyante Maya Etam. So Mama Maya Duratya. Crossing my Maya is very difficult. But Mama Yeva Prapadyante Maya Etam Tarantite. So here same thing also. Yaya Tarati Duratyayam Tama Ayatnena. Without much effort, one can easily cross the insurmountable material existence. But when that is possible? When one have constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord. What was that verse? 8th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Ye prayatisa madvavam tajati ante. Nasti atra samshaya. Whoever remembers me at the time of death will be able to come to my abode and become like me. Sarupya Mukti or something like that. But how can one remember the Lord at the time of death? Example is shown. Whatever one remembers throughout one's life, yam vapi smaran bhavam tajati ante kalevaram tam tam yevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavita. Sada, whatever we remember regularly, that is what we remember at the time of death, and that is what we are going to get after death. If at all one wants to go to spiritual world and become one of the eternal to Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one should remember the Lord at the time of death. If at all one wants to remember the Lord at the time of death, one should remember the Lord at every point of time. That Lord Krishna says in the next verse. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Therefore, sarveshu kaleshu, at all points of time, early morning, afternoon, evening, midnight, every time, Sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara. Constantly remember me. What do you mean? Only remembering you, we can't do, we should not do anything else? Yuddhecha. My dear Arjuna, since you are a Kshatriya, do your fight. But remember me, by the way. And others, while doing their respective duties, should continue to remember the Supreme Lord. How? Mai arpita mano buddhir. Offering one's mind and intelligence, one's consciousness onto Supreme Lord. By doing that, what one will get? Mam eva ishyasi asamshayam. Without any doubt, one will come to me. One will come to my spiritual abode and become one of my eternal associate. If at all one has that desire, this is the formula. There is no other way. Raja Rajena, who exists in all people who resides with the king. This refers to Kuvera. Raja Rajena means king of all the kings. Basically, Kuvera is the king of all kings because he is the Yaksha Pati. So, in that way. So, that was the whole idea and whole blessing. So, in the previous purport, in the current purport, Prabhupada says that one who is a devotee is never aspired for any material benedictions. So, thinking that Kuvera is ready to offer any benediction that Dhruva wants. Anyway, Dhruva will not ask any material benediction. He only wants spiritual benediction. Kuvera will be more happy to give that. This we will also see in the fourth canto. In the same fourth canto, later in the 24th chapter, Brigita is there. People approach Lord Shiva asking for material benedictions. The entire material world, the favorite lords for the people in general are Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. Because Lord Shiva is Ashutosh, Mother Parvati is. They are favorably inclined to fulfill the desires of the person who asks something from them. They are easily pleased and they will easily bless. But at the heart, they are not pleased. They are looking forward for those people who will ask Krishna Bhakti. So, when Lord Shiva understood that these 10 prachetas are coming to the forest with an intention to worship the Supreme Lord all together with friendly nature among the brothers, Lord Shiva was so happy that without being requested, he himself comes and tells them how to worship the Supreme Lord in the best way, best and easiest possible way. He teaches them the Rudra Gita. So it is like that. The Devatas, because they are all devotees at heart, they are always eager to give Krishna Bhakti to one and all. But unfortunately, people in this material world who worship the Devatas does not want Krishna Bhakti from them. By force, they will give. Because they need to give. Somebody surrender to them, they give. They have to give some material benediction, they give. But when devotees are there around, they are more pleased to award benedictions with their full heart content. This is what we can see all throughout the Bhagavatam. So it is like that. So when
Hare
Dhruva
Krishna,
Maharaj,
Prabhu.
yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you said Shiva is Ashutosh, Parvati is?
Mother, Amba.
No, Ashutosh means he gives benediction very easily. So I thought you have some name for Parvati also.
No, mother will give anything children will ask, na? Will mother whenever say, she will ever say that no? When it is father, generally say no. But in spite of being father, Lord Shiva will never say no. He is Ashutosh. He is such a father who will be easily pleased. He will fulfill the desires of anyone and everyone, whatever they ask. And Parvati is one step ahead. Since she is mother, she obviously will give. Only our asking is late. So like that we should understand. But they will give as a material, as a matter of duty. But they are not pleased at heart. They are waiting for someone who will ask Krishna Bhakti. If somebody is asking Krishna Bhakti, they go out of their way to bless that such kind of devotees. So it is like that. As a matter of duty, they might be blessing people in general, but at their own heart, they are eager to give Krishna Bhakti to one and all. Because they don't give, people are not ready to take. If somebody is there who are ready to take, they go out of their way to give. So that is the nature of these devatas, all the way up to Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Because they are all great Vaishnavas, they are eager to distribute that Krishna Bhakti or Vishnu Bhakti to one and all. But unfortunately, their followers are not ready for that. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, like earlier also I had this question for the previous chapter also, and now it is getting highlighted that Dhruva Maharaj had such a exalted qualities. Now also when we are seeing that when Kubera is asking for benediction, he is only asking for the unflinching remembrance of the Lord. So how we explain Dhruva Maharaj so much anger on yakshas in that case for such a person who is completely devoted to Lord? Lord's devotees automatically develop very good qualities. So means all throughout, I had this question for the previous chapter also, that what was the reason exactly for Dhruva Maharaj's anger? Or as Kuvera said, they were destined to die, so just Dhruva Maharaj became the secondary cause for that.
See, Mataji, I mean, it's simple thing. You don't have to miss that. Dhruva Maharaj is not a Brahmana. He is a Kshatriya devotee. Brahmanas are tolerant. As a matter of duty, as a general principle that they cultivate from the very birth, as part of their Varnashrama duties, they tolerate anything that happens to them. But the Kshatriyas are an administrative post. It is not anger out of his own concern. It is the anger out of his duty. His duty is to give protection to one and all. Here somebody is coming from nowhere and killing one of his citizen. Does he have the responsibility to protect him or not? A devotee is not indifferent to one's duties. Devotee also performs his duties more than 100%. Though he is not attached to the results of the duties. As a king, it was his duty to do it. So by the way, when he came there, all the yakshas attacked him and they are creating all the illusion, etc., etc., etc. They are not stopping on their side. They did not say that okay, it was our mistake. One yaksha had killed your brother, so sorry for that. If they ever said, why would Dhruva continue to fight? They are continuing to fight. If he don't fight, he will be killed. Does he have to defend or not?
Yeah, right.
Initially, he defended. He defeated all of them. They went back to their Alakapuri. Then they displayed all the mystical things. If he does not kill them, war will not stop.
Yeah, understood, Prabhuji. Yeah.
The 5 Pandavas never ever wanted to kill Bhishma, Drona. If they don't kill Bhishma, Drona, they cannot kill Duryodhana. If they cannot kill Duryodhana, the injustice will never stop. Are you getting?
Yes, Prabhuji, I understood it properly.
The 5
Thank you.
Pandavas are wonderful devotees. Till now they waited. Even though Duryodhana did so many injustices, they never wanted to kill Duryodhana out of devotional sentiments. Krishna says, okay Baba, you have devotional sentiments, but you also have duty also. Duty को छोड़ो मत, duty भी करो थोड़ा सा.
Yeah,
Duty को छोड़ के इतना क्यों भाग रहे इधर उधर?
right.
That's what now. After the lack of the episode, they should have come back to Hastinapur. They should have killed Duryodhan after waging a war. They did not do it. Instead of doing that, they went away into the forest. They were hiding themselves. They are escaping from their duty. And that came to the extent that the honor of their wife, Draupadi, was at stake. Now Krishna says that till now you tolerated, that is okay, but now you should not tolerate anymore.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Devotee means he is not indifferent to duties. Devotee performs duties more than 100%. In a proper way, not with a selfish motive.
Yes, Prabhuji. Understood. Thank you so much.
Tasya preetena manasa tam tam datvaiva vidastata pashyato antardadesopi swapuram pratyapadyata.
Of Idaved, Lord Kuvera was very pleased and happily he gave Dhruva Maharaj the benediction he wanted. Thereafter, he disappeared from Dhruva's presence and Dhruva Maharaj returned to his capital city.
Pleased with Dhruva, Kuvera, who is known as Idavida, who is the son of, he is the son of Idavida. So this is a spelling mistake here. He is called Idavida because he is the son of Idavida. Kuvera's mother's name is Idavida. So gave him remembrance of the Lord and then disappeared. As Dhruva watched, Dhruva then returned to his city. So here, Prabhupada also asks in the purport, how can a devotee ask benediction from the Devatas? What the right the Devatas have to give benedictions? What benediction they can give? Like that people might question. But the thing is that, as I just mentioned previously, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Mother Parvati and all the Devatas are wonderful Vaishnavas. From the material point of view, from the karma point of view, they might be giving material benedictions as per the request made by the followers. But at their heart, they are all wonderful devotees. When a devotee comes to them and asks for Krishna Bhakti, they go out of their way to give that Krishna Bhakti. So it is like that. Even in Mahabharata also, after Kandava Prastha episode, where Krishna and Arjuna both combined together fought with all the Devatas headed by Indra, who were trying to stop Agni from eating over the Kandava one. After the battle was over, Indra was defeated, all the Devatas were defeated single-handedly by Arjuna, supported by Krishna. Then Indra says that, my dear son, I am very much pleased with you, ask for a benediction. What do you want? Then Arjuna said that, please construct a city after your name. Let it be equaled with the reputation of the heaven in your honor. So as a request of that, Indra requests Vishwakarma to construct a wonderful city which became known as Indraprastha, the modern day Delhi. The today's Delhi is Indraprastha. Then Indra looked at Krishna. He asked Krishna, my dear Krishna, please you also ask a benediction. Then Krishna says that, let my friendship with Lord Krishna, Arjuna remain ever fresh. So it's like that. It is not about who is superior, who is inferior, whether devotee superior or devata superior. It is not about that. It is the exchange of love between two people who are devotees. So like that we should see. In the Ramayana, Indra is giving benedictions to Lord Ram. In the Mahabharata, Indra is giving benedictions to Lord Krishna. It is not about what benedictions they give or not. It's a wonderful loving exchange between the Lord and his devotees, and between the one devotee and other devotee. When two devotees, even though they don't have the capacity to give, because seeing their mutual exchange of love, the Lord will be so much pleased. Whatever the giver of benediction says, it will become true. The Lord will make sure that it will become true. It's not about what is asked, what is given. It is about the relationship between the two devotees. That is more important. So it's like that. That's why it is the Vedic culture. I mean, I would see in my childhood, of course, all of you are elder to me, all of you must have seen. In generally, in our families, whenever the small children, or even all the way up to the younger, anyone younger in the family, whether they go to some family where the elders are there, whether they are living out of the family where elders are there, they offer obeisances to the elderly people. Not only devotees, any person who is elder by their position, they offer obeisances, touch their feet. The elders, whether they really have that capacity to give them blessings or not, but they will give Ashirvad. That is there. This is the one of the important purpose with which all the samskaras, when they are performed at our home, all the elderly relatives are invited. in order to give the blessings. Same thing we read from 10th canto Bhagavatam also. Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj performing all the auspicious ceremonies for Lord Krishna. Every ceremony they are calling Brahmanas, seeking some auspicious blessings for Krishna. From one point of view, what qualification the Brahmanas have giving benedictions to give benedictions to Lord Krishna? But that is a custom. Whether they have that, what we can say, that capacity or not, but out of their selflessness, when they say, out of their pleasure, when they say something, Lord will make sure that that will come true. Because here the receiver is not selfishly motivated, the giver is not selfishly motivated. It is simply an exchange of mutual love and affection between two wonderful people in a religious way, in a cultural way, in a devotional way. So this is the culture. So it is like that. So now the scene on the Himalayas is over. Now the next section talks about how Dhruva Maharaj ruling his kingdom in Brahmavarta on the banks of Ganga. So now Dhruva Maharaj came home. Now he is ruling the kingdom. So what kind of rule Dhruva Maharaj had? A wonderful description comes in this section. Any questions till now?
આટલા બધા ઢોકળા છે એટલે તને ફ્રીજમાં મૂકજે આ બી મૂકજે રસ બી
अतायजत यज्ञेशं क्रतुभिर्भूरि दक्षिणै द्रव्यक्रिया देवतानां कर्मफलप्रदम्.
Long as he remained at home, Dhruva Maharaj performed many great ceremonial sacrifices in order to please the enjoyer of all sacrifices, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prescribed ceremonial sacrifices are especially meant to please Lord Vishnu, who is the objective of all such sacrifices and who awards the result in the benedictions.
Yeah, he says that by sacrifices and profuse charities, Kratubir and Bhuri Dakshina, Dhruva Maharaj spent his entire life performing various sacrifices. This is another important duty of the king. King means he should be performing one yajna after other yajna, one yajna after other yajna for the prosperity and the well-being of the citizens. That's what we study in Bhagavad Gita. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat annasambhava. All the living entities need food. For everyone to receive food, there should be rain. When the rain will come, yajnat bhavanti parjanya. When yajna is performed, the rain will come. But how to perform yajna? Yajna karma samudbhavaha. When all the four varnas and four ashramas perform their respective duties, the yajna is automatically accomplished. The duty of a king is to oversee the performance of yajna. The duty of the brahmanas is to perform the yajna. The duty of the vaishyas is to sponsor for yajna. The duty of the Shudra community is to facilitate the performance of yajna. Matlab, take care of all the different activities in the performance of yajna, like that everyone is engaged. At the end, everyone will be benefited. That's what couple of verses before it is mentioned in the same third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Sahayajna praja sushva purovacha prajapati anena prasavidasvam eshavo isti ishtakamaduk. So Lord Krishna is saying that in the beginning, Lord Brahma created all the Vedas, Vedic literatures. He also created all the different variety of living entities. He also created Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, along with the process known as Yajna. Sahayajna praja sushva. He created Yajna. He also created the people. Then he said that, so my dear human beings, by the performance of Yajna, may all your desires be fulfilled. It is the responsibility of the human beings. By keeping their leader at the head, at the head to perform yajna.
So this case, yajna means doing your occupation duty as a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya.
When all of them come together, yajna is performed automatically. Brahmanical duty, yajan, yajan, patan, patan, dana, parigraha. The first duty is yajan, yajan,
That fire
performing
sacrifice,
yajna. Fire sacrifice. This is as part of varnashrama duties. Don't see from the point of a bhakti. Bhakti, because you are a devotee, you say that yajnanam japa yajñosmi. Among all the yajna, japa yajna is the best. I am performing the best yajna. That is simply sorry to say this. It is simply boasting of ourselves. But before becoming devotees, we are a human being. We are part of varnashrama system also. We need to facilitate the performance of the fire sacrifice also. That means we may not perform fire sacrifice directly, but we have to do our own part of duty so that overall the duty is performed. Fire sacrifice will be performed. At least in the past, king used to perform the yajna because yajna means a lot of things are involved. So individually one may not be able to do. So king will do on behalf of everyone, so everyone will get benefited. So if by doing their everyone's respective duties, accordingly, yajna is accomplished. Whatever occupational duties are there according to one's varna and ashrama, ultimately they all have total to performance of yajna. If not all these things, people pay taxes. All the taxes are used in the performance of yajna. So yajna is accomplished. That is the duty of the king and the human beings. With that, the devatas will get their food, they are survived. Then the devatas will send for the rains. Then here we have the food grains and grasses with which the animals, aquatics, birds, bees, human beings, all of us are survived. Then we perform more yajna, then devatas are more survived. Then the more rains, the more prosperity. Like both devatas and human beings and all other living things are living in harmony. So it's like that. The next verse says that if we don't perform yajna, we only simply accept what they are giving, we remain thieves. Tena evacha. That is understanding. So, as the duty of a king, Dhruva Maharaj is continuously engaged in performance of Kratubi, performance of yajna. And since the Brahmanas are selflessly extending themselves to the accomplishment of yajna, they are not paid. They will be given dakshina. These Brahmanas who are performing yajna are not the paid Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are performing the yajna as a matter of their duty. The Kshatriyas are overseeing. The Vaishyas are sponsoring. The Shudras are serving in various capacities. No one is paid here. Everyone is doing their job. Not the so-called job in the sense the modern context. Job means salary, not like that. Everyone is doing their duty because it is their duty for the well-being of one and all. Nishkama karma yoga, whatever it is. So dakshinas has to be given. Even in the Ramayana also, after marrying Mother Sita, after a few years, they went to forest, lived in the forest for 14 years. They came back. Eventually, in few years, Mother Sita again sent to the forest, abandoned. Lavakusha were born. 11 years passed. Then she was supposed to come back to Ayodhya. She has to prove her chastity. In order to prove her chastity, she said that if I am chaste at all, let my mother come and take me away. So she disappeared. Later on, Lord Rama ruled for 13,000 years. One version says 11,000 years, other version says 13,000 years, 13 or 11, thousands of years. He was continuously performing one yajna after other yajna, one yajna after other yajna. That was the principal duty of a king. So it's like that. So Dhruva Maharaj is also performing Kratubir and Bhuri Dakshina. He then worshipped the Lord of Sacrifice. Ata ayajata yajnesham. Actually, he is not performing yajnas just as a matter of duty. Through the medium of yajnas, he is worshipping the Supreme Lord, who facilitates actions related to the materials, ceremonies, and devatas, and who gives the results of sacrifice. Basically, why he is performing all the yajnas? One is to worship the Supreme Lord. Second is the performance of yajna will facilitate the different activities related to matter, dravya. In fourth canto, very soon we are going to study in one of the chapter, King Prithu chases after Mother Earth because Mother Earth was not producing the food grains. That time Prithu asked, why are you not producing the food grains? Then Mother Earth said that, my dear sir, please understand. The one and only purpose of me producing the food grains is to use all the food grains in the performance of yajna, in the service of Lord Vishnu. Yajnartat karmano, all the karma should be performed as an offering to yajna. Anyatar lokuyam karma bandhana. But the people are exploiting me by using all those things for their own selfish motive. Because previously there was Vena, and Vena told Brahmanas, you Brahmanas, what are you doing all these useless things? You are worshipping Vishnu. Shastra says Vishnu stays in the body of a king. Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, on whose names you are offering oblation, they all stay in the name of the in the body of the king. You should perform yajna in my name. I am Vishnu. I am Indra, I am Chandra, I am Varuna. Perform yajna on my name. Like that, he put a condition to the Brahmanas. The other side, Mother Earth. This is the condition, this is the situation. Why should I produce the food grains, which are supposed to be meant for worship of the Lord Vishnu? Here, people, rulers are becoming like this. Why should I produce? So, Mother Earth stopped producing the food grains. That is what happens eventually. When the food grains which are coming out of the Mother Earth are not used in the performance of yajna, slowly Mother Earth will withdraw all the food grains. By our atheistic means, we may try to produce by extracting the essence of the earth through artificial means. But eventually, they also will be stopped one day. It's like when we switch off the fan will run for some more time. Because of the piety of the previous generations, still things are normal. If we don't perform any more piety, the next generation will experience the pain. It's like that.
There are Christian, there are Islam. That's what is that?
I don't know.
What they worship.
I don't know. This is one process which we are discussing from our Shastra. Let us worry about us. We should be worried about are we performing properly or not. About whether others are practicing or not. More than that. So it's like that. So the performance of yajna will facilitate all the activity related to matter. Will facilitate all the activity related to different ceremonies that one performs in one's varna and ashrama duties. For example, all the grihasthas are told to perform all the 16 samskaras. These are one of the important duties of their grihastha dharma. So in every samskara, yajna should be performed. In every samskara, the food grains are used. In every samskara, the devatas are worshipped. The purpose of yajna is all these things. Everything that we possess should be used in the service of the Supreme Lord through the via medium of yajna, in which the Lord Vishnu and devatas are worshipped. By which we are expressing our gratitude towards the devatas and Lord Vishnu. Because it is Lord Vishnu and devatas are the principal maintainers of our existence. It is they who are maintaining us. When they are maintaining us, we need to show our gratitude to them. That is to the performance of yajna. Just like we have the government, national central government and state government, they are maintaining us, we are paying taxes to them as a matter of expressing our gratitude. The same way, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu and the Devatas are maintaining us. So we need to express our gratitude. The expression of our gratitude is by the performance of yajna. This is from the point of view of varnashrama dharma. So when it comes to bhakti point of view, yata taror mula nisheshanena trupyant tatskanda bhushobhashaka pranopaharacha tatindriyanam sarvarhana machyutejya. When a devotee completely surrenders to the service of Supreme Lord, then the service towards all the devatas is already accomplished. Service towards all the other living it is also accomplished. So it is like that. So, but otherwise, for the people in general, in the society, as a part of society, as part of Varnashrama, we have our obligations toward the society and devatas. As we study in 11th canto, which is the famous verse which comes in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Devarshi bhutaptanunam cha pitrunam nakinkaro nayam runicha rajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam paritya kartum. Unless until one is completely surrendered to Supreme Lord, till then one need to perform all the Varnashram duties without fail, with 100% dedication, not superficially. If we don't perform our Varnashram duties with 100% dedication, how can we serve the Lord 100% dedication? So the dedication will be carried forward. So that is the understanding. So here Dhruva Maharaj, though a wonderful devotee, but as a matter of duty, he is engaging all the materials in the performance of yajna, which facilitate the worship of the matter, the worship of the accomplishment of the usage of the matter, accomplishment of the performance of all the different ceremonies, the accomplishment of the worship of the devatas, which gives the results of sacrifice, which brings prosperity to one and all. As long as one is living here, one will live happily. So that was the understanding. Dravya Kriya Devatanam Karma, Karma Falapradam means that the Lord alone creates the activities related to the ingredients, activities related to the various household rituals and other rituals, activities related to the worship of the devatas in the fire sacrifice. And the Lord alone creates the results of the activities, as we study in Bhagavad Gita also. Though one worship the devatas, Lord says that it is I who give them the faith upon the devatas. It is I who give them the fulfillment of their desires through the medium of devatas. So everything is facilitated by Supreme Lord, because Lord is ultimately in charge of the maintenance. So it is He who has to maintain through the medium of the devatas. Devatas are simply His representative or His subservients in order to maintain the universe. So it is like that. So his entire life as a king is in the engagement of performance of yajnas, which accomplish the performance of all the activities. In that way. Sarvatmani achyutas sarve तीव्रौगां भक्ति मुद्वहन् तदर्शात्मनि भूतेषु तमेवावस्थितं विभुम्. Please read the translation.
So Maharaj rendered devotional service unto the Supreme, the reservoir of everything with unremitting force. While carrying out his devotional service to the Lord, we could see that everything is situated in him only, and that he is situated in all living entities. The Lord is called Achyuta because he never fails in his prime duty to give protection to his devotees.
In spite of fully engaged in the performance of yajna, taking care of the entire kingdom, engaging all dravya, performing all the different kriyas, different rituals, and making sure that the devatas are sufficiently worshipped. But at the core of the heart, Dhruva Maharaj is always Krishna conscious. Engaged in intense bhakti, Tivra Ogam Bhakti Mudvaham. He was performing Tivra Bhakti onto the infallible Supreme Lord, who is the soul of all living entities, Sarvatmani Achyuta, who is different from all others, Asarve. Though Supreme Lord is there as Paramatma in each and every living entity, but he is not each and every living entity. He himself exists separately from all other living entities, though they are all part and parcels of him only. He saw the Supreme Lord alone, situated in all beings on in himself. Dhruva Maharaj saw the service unto the entire humanity, the service unto all the different variety of the material ingredients, service unto different devatas at the service of the Supreme Lord. Because in everything he is seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead only. Stavara Jangama Deki Nadeki Taramurti Sarvatra Prasara Hoibe Ishtadeva Spurti. So, as a pure devotee, he is always working hard for the well-being of each one living entity, because he is seeing each one living entity as the Supreme Lord, Ati Devo Bhava. something like that. Kings perform sacrifices to please the devatas and the brahmanas. Without doing so, king's work cannot be accomplished. In compliance to that, his likeness alone performed those actions. In actually, he did not have time for such actions. This is explained in this verse. Because he is a king, his duty is to perform all the yajnas in order to worship the devatas and the brahmanas. But he is actually performing all those duties as a matter of duty and then worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the core of the heart is completely immersed in Tivra Bhakti. So that is the understanding. He performed Bhakti to the Lord, who is the soul of all beings, who is different from all others. By power of his mature meditation, he saw the Lord within his heart and externally in all beings. Because he is so great devotee, he is seeing the Lord within him, within his own heart constantly. He is also seeing the Lord everywhere. Because this was the request which Dhruva asked to Kuvera. He said, let me have constant achalam smrutim. So in spite of fully engaged in administration and performance of yajnas, he is always seeing the Lord, means he is always in Krishna consciousness. He is always meditating on the Supreme Lord. So it is like that. Tamevam Shila Sampannam Brahmanyam Dina Vastalam Goptaram Dharma Setunam Menire Pitaram Praja.
Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all good qualities, and he was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord, and very kind to the poor and innocent, and he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all citizens.
The citizens considered Dhruva the protector of the rules of Dharma. Goptaram Dharma Setunam. Dhruva considered, the citizens considered Dhruva as the protector of the Dharma, protector of the Varnashrama Dharma. And then, who was endowed with all good qualities, Shila Sampanna. Dhruva Maharaj is a person seen as the good person of good qualities. Respectful to all the Brahmanas, Namo Brahmanya Devaya. He is worshipping and respecting all the Brahmanas. And affectionate to miserable, Dina Vastalam. He is very much compassionate to innocent. And all the citizens considered Dhruva Maharaj there like their father. Just how a father is always protective of his children and also takes care of their needs. Like that, Dhruva Maharaj is so protective of his citizens and also takes care of their needs. That's why everyone felt Dhruva to be their own father. This is how his rule was there. So in this purport, Prabhupada actually contrasts the Dhruva Maharaj rule and the modern day rule. Everything opposite to what we see in this verse. So like that. So how long did he rule like that? Satrimshad Varsha Sahasram Shashasakshiti Mandalam Bhogai Punyakshayam Kurvan Abhogair Ashubhakshayam.
Dhruva Maharaj ruled over this planet for 36,000 years. He diminished the reactions of pious activities by enjoyment, and by practicing austerities, he diminished inauspicious reactions.
This verse also gives one of the important theme, which has also spoken in terms of Parikshit Maharaj, also in terms of Prahlad Maharaj. Desiring to decrease his pious results by enjoyment, Bhogai Punyakshayam Kurvan. By enjoyment, he diminished Punya. Because Dhruva Maharaj performing so many auspicious activities, he accumulated so much Punya. As a result, he is becoming prosperous, more and more prosperous. He is enjoying the prosperity. Not out of a desire to enjoy, only in order to diminish the punya. If punya remains here, he has to carry that punya along with him. So he does not want to carry any punya, though he is destroying that punya by bhoga. And destroy sinful reactions by austerity. Abhogair ashubhakshayam. Ashubha has to be destroyed by the performance of severe austerities. And thus, he ruled the entire Bhumandala, Kshiti Mandalam, for 36,000 years. Bhogena punyam kushalena papam. This verse comes in the Prahlad Maharaj and Parishit Maharaj case. So, because the kings perform so many pious activities, they get prosperity. So, they will enjoy that prosperity in order to destroy their punya. And they also perform severe austerities in order to destroy their so-called inauspicious act. They mean Dhruva Maharaj does not propose right same thing. How can Dhruva Maharaj perform that sinful activities? He has no. But as a matter of duty, he performs austerities also. If at all something is there unknowingly, that will be removed. So by removing both punya and papa, they make themselves ready to go back home back to Godhead. Even with little punya is there, one will not go back home back to Godhead. One need to enjoy the punya. He destroyed sinful reactions by vratas and sense control. Abhoge. The present participle kurvan has a sense of infinitive. The infinitive has a sense of wanting to. That means Devatatta goes to enjoy means Devatatta goes desiring to enjoy. The understanding is thus the meaning of the verse is desiring to destroy the sinful reactions by following austerities, vratas, and desiring to destroy the pious reactions by enjoying the opulences. Dhruva ruled for 36,000 years. He himself does not have any desire to enjoy more and more. Because he want to diminish the piety, he enjoyed the opulences. So that when he is ready to leave this world, there should be no quota punya, no quota papa. He is clean slate. He should be ready to go back to Godhead. मालूम पड़ेगा प्रभु जी. First follow this, then वो मालूम पड़ेगा. However, this desire to destroy reactions is exhibited out of humility. Actually, he did not have any pious or sinful reactions, since he already developed prema for the Supreme Lord. There are no more piety or impiety in him. But as a matter of duty, in order to set a good example to the society in general, he is doing it. So that is understanding. Evam bahuswam kalam mahatma vichalendriya trivargaupαϊκam nitva putra yadan nripashanam manyamana idam vishwam maya rachitam atmani avidya rachita swapna gandharva nagaropamam. Please read the translation.
Controlled great soul Dhruva Maharaj. Continue.
Self-controlled soul Dhruva Maharaj thus passed many years favorably executing three kinds of worldly activities, mainly religiosity, economic development, and satisfaction of all material desires. Thereafter, he handed the charge of the royal throne to his son. The Dhruva Maharaj realized that this cosmic manifestation delivers living entities like a dream or phantasmagoria, because it is a creation of the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, here it is said that passing thus 36,000 years, suitable for enjoyment of dharma, artha, kama, with undisturbed senses, the great devotee Dhruva, realizing that this universe made of Maya is like a Gandharva city, phantasmagoria, below the wisp, manufactured in a dream, caused by ignorance in oneself, handed over the throne to his son. So Dhruva Maharaj, though he was enjoying for a long time, but he was never interested in enjoyment, because he knew that whatever enjoyment that is offered in this material world for the body and mind is like a dream only. It has no factual substance. So he was not attached to the enjoyment. After right time, after ruling for 36,000 years, he gave the kingdom to his son. He passed many years suitable for enjoyment of dharma, artha, kama. Since it is made of maya, the universe is real. The universe is actually real. It is not an illusory universe. However, by ignorance within the self, it appears unreal and is thus compared to a Gandharva city in a dream made of ignorance. For a person who is supposed to prepare for going back home, back to Godhead, should not be attached to the material enjoyment. Instead, they should treat this material world as a Gandharva city, which is created by the mind in a dream. And that they should treat the enjoyment offered in this material world is like the enjoyment in the Gandharva city. Then only one will be detached from this material enjoyment. Then only one will be qualified to go back to Godhead. Though the material world is real, though the material enjoyment is real, but it is temporary, still one should treat it as Gandharva city. Otherwise, one will not develop sufficient detachment to leave behind this material world and go back to Godhead. I'm sorry, it is already 8:30. This is the last verse because this section will be over. That's why continuing. So how did he give up the kingdom? What was the consciousness of Dhruva Maharaj when he gave the kingdom to his son? That is indicated in this next verse. Atmastri apatya suhrudo balam ruddha kosham ananta antapuram parivihara bhuvascha ramya bhumandalam jaladime kalamala akalavya kalopasishtam iti sa prayau vishalam. So in this verse here it says that, no, I will read. Considering
Sorry, Prabhuji.
that his own body, his wife, children, friends, military power, treasury, female quarter, that is Antapura, beautiful parks, vihara bhuvas, vihara kshetras, and the whole area surrounded by the oceans, the entire Bhumandala surrounded by 7 oceans, would all be destroyed by time. Understanding that the material world is not eternal, the body is not eternal, the wives are not eternal, children are not eternal, friends are not eternal, military power is not eternal, treasury is not eternal, the Antapura opulences are not eternal, the beautiful parks, gardens, lakes are not eternal, even the whole Bhumandala is not eternal. At right time, when he understood that his duties are enough is enough, my duties are done, he gave the kingdom to his son to enjoy. He went to Badrikashram to perform austerities as a Vanaprastha. He took on to renounced order, Vanaprastha order. He went to Badrikashramam. Considering that all things were affected by time, he left for Badrikashrama. If he wanted, he could have lived for as long as he want, but he is not attached to live here and enjoy here. He is ready now to go back to God. Since Lord told him to rule for 36,000 years, he ruled for that time. Then he said enough is enough. The same thing is also mentioned in the first canto of Bhagavatam. When Arjuna told Yudhishthira Maharaj that Krishna departed from this world, Yudhishthira Maharaj said that there is no end to the material duties. I can continue as a king, but there is no end to the duties as a king. So by Krishna's assurance, I became the king. Now Krishna himself is not there. Why should I continue? So as soon as he heard that Krishna departed, he made Parikshita the next king and started for north. This is the mentality of devotees. Even though devotees stay here, perform their duties either as a king, as a brahmana, as a acharya, they do those duties as long as their tenure is there. When the tenure is over, they don't stay even one moment. They pack up their belongings and they get ready for going back to Godhead. What belongings?
What belongings? They took nothing.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. These are their belongings. These are the belongings. Their bhakti, they will take along with them their bhakti. Not the opulence, not the opulences of this world. Okay. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. We'll stop here. So we will continue tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock. So I request all the devotees to join and we will
Hare
discuss
Krishna.
further. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can I ask 2-3 doubts? If other devotees, those who want to stay can stay, those who want to go can go. Means if you have time.
Okay, I have time. Other devotees, please continue with your class is over. So whatever you want to do, you can do. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mother.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Prabhuji, in the 5th verse translation, it is mentioned that those who are killed by the devotees of the Lord, they go to higher planetary systems.
Brahmaloka, all the way up to Brahmaloka.
Yeah, so in spite of that, Swayambhu Manu came and stopped Dhruva. So we should understood this whole thing in a way that till the time the devotee is killing according to the religious principles, they will go to the Brahmaloka or higher lokas. But if they cross the principles, then that will not happen. Should we understand it that way?
See, the principle may be true. If somebody is killed by a devotee in a religious war, they may attain higher planets. But the devotee should not kill, should not overkill. From Swayambhu Manu's point is not about the result, it is about the action. Dhruva came to kill one Yaksha. After killing that one Yaksha, he should have stopped. But he continued to fight more than necessary. It went to the extent that he wanted to uproot the entire Yaksha, entire Yaksha, what we can say, entire Yaksha species only. That is too much.
Okay. Okay, so he was crossing means from the action point of view, basically. We should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Prabhuji, like in 11.7, then 11.29 and 11.35, everywhere, Swayambhu Manu has been addressed as Lord Manu. And that too, capital Lord means otherwise for Brahmaji or Shivji, when they write Lord, it is small L. And only for the Krishna, we write the capital L, Lord. So here, that capital L, Lord, has been mentioned for the Manu. So how we understand?
Swayambur Narada Shambhu. We have 12 Mahajanas. One among the 12 Mahajanas is Swayambhu Manu. So it's okay. Writing with capital L is basically when somebody is speaking Krishna Katha, somebody is speaking about Bhakti, they are actually representing the Bhagavan. So they can be referred as Lord. No issues. It is not at all issue.
Okay. So they means all these 12 Mahajanas also can be referred to as Lord.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And Prabhuji, in the 7th verse, 11th chapter, 7th verse, Parpatna, it is mentioned that furthermore, at the present moment, civilized nations are unnecessarily maintaining many slaughterhouses for killing innocent animals. And when the nation is attacked by its enemies, the wholesale slaughter of the citizens should be taken as a reaction to their own sinful activities. That is the nature's law. That means I'm not understanding that if government gives the permission to the slaughterhouses, how citizens have to repay that action. Means we have heard that whatever citizens do, the king is responsible for that. But it is vice versa also true that if the king or government does something, their karma or their actions will also come to citizens.
In democracy, government is elected by the people. People are telling that you are my leader. Whatever you say, agree to it. So whatever the ruler says, that is as per the agreement of the citizen. That means The citizens have said it. If the government is giving permission to slaughterhouse, that means the citizens have given permission to the slaughterhouse. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So means whatever action this government does, whatever wrong actions, all those karmas will keep coming to us because we have selected them.
Ah, yes,
You
obviously.
may have gone for voting, you may not have gone, but still it will come to you. Is it that way? Like,
Just by being a citizen will get it.
oh, that's horrible, Prabhuji. That's too much.
That's
So,
why this Varnashram system is so special, so wholesome, so nice. If we follow Varnashram, there will be no problem. The king always will be worried about how to protect the Varnashram system. The citizens are always fearful about not to perform sinful activities. But in Kali Yuga, the mode of ignorance is prominent. The symptom of mode of ignorance is adharmam, dharmamiti, dharmam, adharmamiti. Both the people and the leaders are firmly convinced that dharma to be adharma, adharma to be dharma. Opening slaughterhouses is the best dharma for the government, and also that is the best dharma for the people. People want meat. The leader providing. What is the problem?
yeah.
It is a mutual win-win solution.
Because in case of that Dwarka Brahmana whose children were dying, we saw na, that he comes to the door of the palace in Dwarka and he says that because you are not doing something properly, that is why my children are dying like that.
Hmm.
So that
Yes.
means king was blamed due to if citizens faced any problem. But here
Yes,
in
yes.
Kali Yuga, we see it is ulta, like
Hmm.
people are getting karma because government is taking certain actions. Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare
Nothing
Krishna.
like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you
Hare
very
Krishna.
much,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta Ganga Mataji, for thank you for joining. Okay, okay.
Tomorrow at 2 p.m. No? Hari Bol.
Ah,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. No?
yes, yes, 2 p.m.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Probably don't, yes, sitting seriously.